Okay, so we are moving on to branding, and I love this topic. It's a fun one. So let's talk about what is a brand. And so if we think about it, we obviously think about all the popular brands we love: Starbucks, Nike, Adidas, whatever it might be. We can all name, I'm sure, a ton of them. But a brand itself is an identifier. It's a promise, okay? It's what you put behind that. An asset, a set of perception, and a mind share is what they call it. But so a brand really stands for something. That logo has some meaning behind it, right? And that's what people look for. When they think of that logo, they think of something. So whatever it might be for you, a brand that you love, you think about that brand and you're like, oh, I like that. I like what it does. I like that product. It works good, whatever it might be. So it could be something as simple as Tide laundry detergent and something as big and complex and expensive as Mercedes. But everything that logo says gives you a list of things in your head that you think about that brand. All right, tangible and intangible elements. Brands are a combination of those, right? Of tangible and intangible. So visual design elements like logo, color, packaging, and then distinctive product features like quality, design, sensibility, all of that. Customers' experience with a product or company, reputation, those are all part of the brand. So brands convey a message. Attributes, specific product features, benefits. Attributes translate into functional and emotional benefits. Values, company values and operational principles. Culture, cultural elements of the company and the brand. Personality, strong brands often project a distinctive personality. And then user, brands may suggest the types of consumer who buy and use the product. So let's go back to the personality, because you got to think about this. Strong brands often project a distinctive personality. So, why do we like those Steve Madden shoes? Why do we like the Nike shoes? It gives off a certain personality, right? It kind of gives a little something to you when you buy that brand. So I think that's an interesting way to kind of put it. All right, so brands create value for consumers. Brands help simplify consumer choices. They help create trust so the person knows what to expect from a branded company, product, or service. This builds customer loyalty, which is very, very, very valuable in business. So if we think about Starbucks, where they have Dunkin' Donuts here in the PowerPoint, the drinks and the products are supposed to be made the same anywhere you go, universally, right? And so that's why we trust it. We know if we go into a Starbucks, we're going to get the same cup of coffee if we went here in Terre Haute, if we went in Indianapolis. So we can trust that that's what's going to happen. All right, types of brands. So different types of brands include individual products, product ranges, services, organizations. You have e-brands, geographic places, private label brands, events, media. It just kind of goes all over the place. Even a locally owned business can have a brand because it's more than just the logo. Brand equity. Love the gecko there. So brand equity refers to the value of a well-known brand that conjures positive or negative mental and emotional association. So when you think about a specific brand, does it make you think positively or negatively? What do you associate with that? So for instance, just an example, Tyson chicken, that might be negative to a lot of people, might be positive too, but that might be a negative to people because of all the things about how they treat their chickens and how it's processed and all that stuff. But if we think about Starbucks, usually, for the most part, that's usually a pretty positive thing that people think about. So how do we measure brand equity? Price, customer satisfaction and loyalty, perceived quality, leadership and popularity, value, the brand personality, organizational association. So who do they donate with? Who do they align with? Who do they help support? Brand awareness. Can we recognize it quick? Is it a household name? Market share, and then market price and distribution coverage. Brand asset valuator. So differentiation. The defining characteristics of the brand and its distinctness relative to competitors. Relevance. the appropriateness and the connection of the brand to a given consumer. Esteem, consumers' respect for and attraction to the brand, and the knowledge will be consumers' awareness of the brand and understanding of what it represents. So that is how you kind of evaluate a brand and kind of where it stands. If we look at slide 10, we've got a diagram there about the brand strength and kind of how things lay out. So you can take a look at that. Other ways to measure brand equity, financially. So financial asset, how much are they worth? Price differential. Wow, I messed up that word. So how high is the price? How low is the price, right? Consumer favorability and preference. Do people prefer to buy this product over another? They have a logo of Chanel there, very expensive brand. And then consumer perceptions. What do they assume, or how do they feel about you, right? Perception is how we see or feel or view something. So what do you think about that specific brand? All right, brand loyalty is something consumers' commitment to repurchase or otherwise continue using a particular brand by repeatedly buying a product or service. Perceived value, satisfaction, and brand trust are also elements of brand loyalty. So I think that we can probably all think of something that we are very loyal to without even thinking about it, like Crest toothpaste. I don't think to myself, oh, I'm loyal, I'm not buying anything else. I just go in and buy that every time. Same with Tide laundry detergent. I don't really think that it does anything better than some of the others. I just always buy Tide Free and Gentle for my kids. So there's something that we're all probably pretty loyal to without even thinking about it, not even doing it on purpose, but the brand is there, it's very recognizable, and so we know if we buy that, we're going to get good quality. Now, there's other things I'm sure that we can all think about that we would not buy another type of product. I buy more expensive shampoo. That's something that's a personal preference for me. I don't buy shampoo from the grocery store. So that would be something that I would not budge on buying. So I'm sure you guys can all think of something like that. All right, types of customers. We have hardcore loyal customers, split loyals, shifting loyals, and switchers. So a switcher is you buy something different all the time. Shifting loyal would be that you kind of go back and forth. Split would be you buy something, part of this one brand, sometimes another brand. You just go back and forth between two. And then hardcore, obviously, is when you just buy the one product or the one brand all the time. There's people who sometimes will only drive a certain type of vehicle, a certain brand of vehicle. They won't buy a Ford, they'll only drive a Chevy or GMC. Things like that. So why create loyalty programs? So those are things that aren't super new, but are pretty popular in our society. So the benefits of a brand loyalty are longer than tenure, or staying a consumer for longer and lower sensitivity to price. By creating promotions and loyalty programs that encourage the consumer to take some sort of action, companies are building brand loyalty by offering more than just an advertisement. So you, in turn, get the benefit for being loyal to that brand. There's some type of usually financial benefit for you. Brand platform. So what is your platform as a brand? So it includes the following things: your mission statement, your value proposition, your brand promise, so the singular experience your brand promises to provide for a customer, your core values, guiding principles for how an organization does business, your brand voice or personality. So if we think about who's representing your brand, Ellen DeGeneres pops into my mind with CoverGirl. You see Jennifer Aniston on Aveeno commercials. There's all kinds of sports figures who promote different things. So who is your voice or personality? And then your brand boosting statement. So we think about Nike, just do it, right? We know that is their little tagline. So all sorts of places have things like that. All right, brand voice or personality. So we're touching on this a little bit more. A useful template for defining a brand voice and personality is never a template. So together, the brand voice and personality set the linguistic and visual tone for all brand related communication. So like back to the CoverGirl and Ellen DeGeneres. She sets the tone for that company in those commercials, and lots of celebrities have that power to do that. Brand positioning statement. So here is another example of how you could do that. It says, note that a target audience for brand positioning statement should include all audiences for the brand, not just specific narrowly defined target segments you'd expect to in the product or service positioning statement. So you want to appeal to the larger audience, anybody who you might think would buy that product when you are doing your brand positioning statement. All right, slide 18. They use Lego as an example, so you can look at that and see how they lay that out. Slide 19, brand personality. My Lego friend. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. My Lego friend has a vivid imagination, is curious and likes to try out new things, is always positive and optimistic, is fun to be around with, enjoys bringing people together, is friendly and approachable, is caring for others, and doesn't get bothered by little things, can comfortably adapt to play different roles. So that is about Legos. All right, we have another diagram on on slide 20, brand messaging and marketing alignment. So we have a nice layout there with a pyramid. It talks about the time frame for your campaign, your positioning, and then your brand strategy. Selecting a brand name. So that is one of the most important product decisions a seller will make. Your name could potentially make you or break you. So it's super important. You got to be creative and inventive. Make sure you stand out, but don't put off the wrong message. There's a lot of pressure behind that. If you ever watch Shark Tank, that's one of the things that the sharks will say, about either their packaging or the name, that they don't understand off the bat how that shows customers what it is that they do. So that's important. When we talk about the steps of naming a brand, so you need to define what you're naming, right? What is it that you are naming? What's your product? Check the landscape. You want to make sure you don't get yourself in any kind of legal trouble where you're getting too close to something else that's going to be your competitor. Brainstorm ideas. Screen and knock out any problematic names. And then check domain name and social media availability. You want to make sure you're not stealing or copying from anyone else. More steps in naming a brand. So customer test your short list to kind of see what they prefer. Make your final selection and then take your steps to get it trademarked so that you're covered on all sides. Packaging is also very important. So you want quality, safety, legal compliance, distinction, affordability, all of those things need to go into your packaging. So not only will your logo go on there, but you want to make sure that your packaging protects your product, is safe to your consumer, but makes it stand out and makes it look like something you want to buy. Okay, so we have a little nice blurb here. It says packaging should fit the product and the customer and promote the brand loyalty. We have a nice little picture with a little girl in a Pringles can. So obviously that Pringles can is easy to open. It's easy to store. It's easy to hold on to. And so that's something that, besides the taste, helps promote brand loyalty for them because it's easy to take with you on the go, right? All right, so some branding strategies. Branding house, house of brands, private label or store branding, no brand branding, personal and organizational, place branding, so Las Vegas, think about the big Las Vegas sign, co-branding, so like Liz Lang has a line at Target, licensing, so we can look at the Diet Coke image there, and then brand extension and line extension, so like Diet Coke, Jell-O Pudding Pops is an extension of Jell-O, things like that. All right, so here is your bonus question for this week. What are the advantages and disadvantages of licensing for a brand? What are the advantages and disadvantages for licensing of a brand? All right, so this concludes the second PowerPoint we are going over tonight. Let's take a quick break and I will be right back.